Welcome to the Faster Fluency Conversation Club podcast by Business English with Christina. Joining the club is a great way for you to improve your fluency and confidence in English, meet people from all over the world, and have fun while talking about real-world topics. We hold 1-hour conversations on Zoom 6 times a week, Monday to Friday. And our podcast listeners receive a 50% discount on the first month of membership with the discount code FFCC50. Are you looking to improve your English speaking ability? Come and join us today. Faster Fluency Conversation Club podcast, the vocabulary for the episode, What Makes Good Conversation Skills? Hey everyone, a quick special announcement before we get into today's topic. If you want to send us an email with any English-related questions, ideas for topics, or any feedback, we now have a dedicated email address for podcast listeners. Send us an email at podcast@ChristinaRubafate.com with your questions, comments, and suggestions. We'd love to hear from you, and we might even read and answer your question on a future podcast. Now, on with the show. All right, everybody, I am back still with Karyn. Karyn, how are you doing since about 2 minutes ago?
Same.
Same as always. Exactly, right. So you guys, you have listened to our conversation all about what makes good communication skills. And as you probably heard, we used some idiomatic expressions and some more advanced vocabulary. And in this episode, we are going to dive into that vocabulary and give you some definitions and insights into all of that so that you can practice using it in your Faster Fluency Conversation Club sessions. All right, Karyn, to start, do you want to just maybe read the list of vocabulary that we're going to cover today?
Sure. The first one is communication is a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, walk a mile in my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
4, verbose. 5, lifelong learners. And finally, top notch.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. So let's get into those. The first expression, communication is a two-way street. How would you explain this?
So I would say communication is give and take. Right? There's some mutual action going on there. You're speaking, I'm listening, and then I listen, you speak. I heard somebody describe it as ping pong, right? Ping pong,
good,
back and forth.
Nice.
You hit the ball back to one person, they hit it back to you. It's kind of like communication. One person doesn't, kidnap the whole conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's good. And I think I mentioned this in the conversation, this idea of like, it's a two-way street. You have to meet in the middle. One person, starts advancing one direction, the other person advances in the other direction because you're going in both ways, both directions, and you meet in the middle and communication happens. And right. Okay. Second expression, the bottom line. I can define this one.
Okay.
I think we said in the conversation, we talked about the bottom line is to communicate or to share ideas or something. And it basically means like the result, what's the thing that you want to have? What's the end result of something? We'd say, and then the bottom line is, you want to have a conversation. So I would say that's it, unless
Good.
you have
Yep.
something else you want to add to that definition.
That's it. We use a lot of that in finance too. The bottom line, by how much profit do we make? What was the result of our year? So
True.
It's also used in finance quite a bit.
Yeah. And I would say it originally comes from the finance world, but it's just an expression that has come into everyday language. And now it's like a figurative expression because in finance, it is the financial result. It's the last number, the bottom line on your financial statement. But in a figurative sense, it's the result. Yeah. All right. What about walk a mile in my shoes or walk a mile in your shoes? How would you explain this one?
This is all about empathy, right? See what I'm going through. Kind of like, not literally walk a mile in your shoes, put somebody else's shoes on, see how they fit.
Right.
But you're going to, see how that person feels, kind of
Mm,
imagine, what
yeah.
they're going through, what the situation is.
Mm,
So that's basically it. It's about empathy, 'cause,
yeah.
expressing empathy for
Exactly.
somebody.
Yeah. Feel what I feel or live my life or, see it from my
Mhm.
perspective, walk a mile in my shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Next expression that we had was verbose. I can define this one. And verbose is basically too many words. It's the opposite of concise. So I'm going to give a definition that is not verbose, and I will say that is it.
Yes, verbose is, yeah, using too many unnecessary words to
Mm,
to write what you have to write or say
exactly.
what you have to say. So, yeah, you
Exactly.
just string all these useless words along. Like you say, point of view, you could say viewpoint.
Yeah,
2 words instead of 3. Mhm.
right. Yeah, exactly. And often I think when we think of something that's very verbose, it's not just about the number of words, but it's you're putting too many ideas into one let's say piece of communication, whether that is a report or a paragraph or a LinkedIn post or a story that you're telling. You're just putting too much into it and you need to get to the point and be
Yeah,
concise. So,
yeah.
okay.
In business, yeah, you need to be concise.
Especially, yeah, right. What about lifelong learners? Do you want to explain that one?
That is me. I am a
Oh,
life I am a lifelong learner. I've had about
yeah.
5 different careers. So yeah, you just always a lifelong learner is you never stop learning.
Hmm.
You're curious, you always want to learn about different things. It could be something in your job, could be a hobby, could be anything, but you are always curious, you're always searching, you're
Mm,
always seeking
yeah,
knowledge.
exactly. And I think a lot of our members in FFCC, we could say that they're lifelong learners as well because they're here and they're learning English and practicing and that's awesome. So, all right. And the last one, top notch. I would say this is also a word that we could use to describe a lot of our members. Top notch. To define it, it means basically it's like the best of the best. It's something, if we break it down literally, a notch is like when you have a stick and you carve like a little indention into the stick, that's a notch. And then the notch that is at the top of the stick, I don't know why, but for some reason we say it's better than the ones at the bottom. And so if something is top notch, it just means it's high quality, it's very good, it's, the best in its class, all of that. So
Excellent. Yeah,
it's
excellent.
excellent. Yeah, that's
Excellent.
a very concise way of describing that. Thank you. Because I was being quite verbose with my definition there. All right. So that is our vocabulary. I'll just read those one time for you all. Communication is a two-way street. Number 2, the bottom line. Number 3, walk a mile in my shoes. Number 4, verbose. Number 5, lifelong learner. And number 6, top notch. And that is the end of this episode. So thank you very much, Karyn. And we'll see
Thank
you
you.
in FFCC.
Yes.
Thank you for listening this week. We are always trying new ways to improve our podcast, and we have just set up an email for our listeners to interact with us more. If you have any English-related questions, topic ideas, or any feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Please send your emails to podcast@ChristinaRubafe.com, and you can find the email address in the show notes. We also offer the transcript of this episode for free, so you can read after or while listening. And when you become a member of the Faster Fluency Conversation Club, you also get exercises on grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation each week. So you'll be more directly connected to the topic of conversation each week, and you'll be able to practice confidently. If you'd like to join the club, the link for more details is in the show notes for this podcast, and we hope to see you in the Faster Fluency Conversation Club.